Yeah. So I'll just say the shloka again. 11.1 Arjuna Vacha Mad Anugrahaya Paramam Guyam Adhyatma Samyitam Yat Tvayuktam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mam. Translation Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. And 11.2 Shloka Bhavapyau hi bhutanam Shrutau vistarasho maya Tvataha kamla patraksha maha atmyam api chavyayam. Translation O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. So, so Arjuna here is referring to the instructions he has received till now and his realization and the details related to that. So this entire chapter is actually related to universal form. So we're just getting into detail, beginning. Okay. So in 11.1, so this is all universal form and is the beginning of the chapter. So, so his Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gives a breakup of this entire chapter related to universal form. He gets into detail, like this is the first four requests are Arjuna's requests, um, about the universal form for Lord to actually show him the universal form. So like that, and then questions further. There are questions. Next four, Sanjay's description of the universal form, and then 15 to 31 there is Arjuna's description of the universal form. When he sees his vision of universal form, how does it the effect of a universal form on Arjuna? As we have known that universal form is looks very ferocious. I mean, Arjuna was like frightened seeing all the detail, what's happening, and so the effect it has on him. So then he gives prayers, he starts saying prayers, and 32, 34. Then after that, once Arjuna is his realization and Arjuna starts saying the prayers, uh, Krishna's response is like, Krishna gives into detail 30 to 34. Okay, this is your realization, so you understand who I am. Krishna instructs him that you become my instrument now. So initially he had this hesitation, right? Not to fight the battle because he was worried. He was seeing his relatives and um, Guru and everything and Bhishma Pitama, and he's thinking, why should he fight? All the doubt. So all the doubt is removed. He accepts Krishna as his supreme personality, and then so Krishna says, "Okay, become my instrument." Then, and then Arjuna gives prayers, glorifications in 35 to 46, and then. Um, After all that, he actually wants to see the other form of the Lord, the Chaturabhuja and beautiful form of the Lord. Um, so 47 to 55, His Grace Chaitanya Charitamrita says um, that only pure devotion grants all visions to a devotee. I mean, otherwise, as we know that we are now we have this material body, and because material body has this material vision, we are not able to see Krishna's beautiful form. Only the pure devotees can see they have the spiritual vision, and then they can see the Lord. They can participate in the leelas. They can see the leelas happening because they are empowered. They are blessed. They are pure devotees. So, so Prabhu says that only pure devotion alone grants all visions, whether it is universal form or two-hand form. So, so this chapter will further culminate in pure devotion, by which um, a person can actually see all forms of God. So this is how the detail. The realized person, pure devotee, what it is, and having Pure devotion enables you to see the pure, beautiful forms of the Lord, or all forms of the Lord, because they are empowered with the spiritual vision. Okay, so let's get into detail. So, mad anugrahaya paramam. So, out of your great mercy on me, what is the effect? What have you done? Goyam adhyatma samgitam. You have spoken spiritual knowledge to me, which is very confidential, very guya, which is not very easy to understand, right? So this knowledge, this spiritual knowledge is very confidential. It's guya, and it's not easy to interpret. So yat tvayuktam vachastena. So tvaya and uktam, the words used here. Um, so tvaya is by you, uktam is said, vachaha words. So the words you have spoken, what has happened is moho ayam vigato mam. Moha is illusion. Ayam, this vigato, is removed. Mam, my. Moha means illusion. Vigato means to go away. So my moha, my illusion has now gone away. So initially he was under the illusion, like I just mentioned that he was seeing his relatives and who were fighting from the other party, other side, the Duryodhana side, and he was seeing, contemplating and evaluating. This will happen, and so he was hesitating. He's a Kshatriya, and he had this hesitation, although he has never had this hesitation. So this illusion is now removed by how? By just receiving this knowledge, by hearing instructions from Krishna. So, what is interesting that Arjuna is now saying that I have no moha, no illusion. This is what Arjuna will say at the end of the Gita 18.73. Nasto moha smrita labdha. So in 10.11, in 10th chapter, 11th shloka, Chatur Shloki, Bhagavad-gītā, Arjuna has accepted Krishna's glorious position. Param Brahma, Param Dhama. And so Arjuna has shown that he has established true understanding. He is convinced, and he actually shares his experiences in realization. So he gives proof that he has understood. And thereafter, whatever questions are there after that, these are actually for the general public, for the people. He's now in that mode. He has that realization. Okay, I have benefited from this. This is something great. I want others also to benefit from this. So he's in that realization. He's now asking questions for the general public, other people who are not there, right? It's between him and Krishna. So now for future generations. So that is how it is. So he's thinking how to benefit others, and accordingly he's asking questions, getting into detail. So mad anugrahaya, just to show me favor, paramam, supreme, mad anugraha paramam. So out of your great mercy, you have spoken all these to me, and I'm grateful to you, because what you have spoken, the effect is that my moha, my illusion is gone. So what we understand from this is that knowledge actually removes illusion. Knowledge removes illusion, ignorance. So especially that which helps one, especially that knowledge which helps one realize that one should get out of this material existence and enter or transcend into spiritual existence. So this knowledge cannot be ordinary worldly knowledge. This is not material knowledge. This is supremely confidential spiritual knowledge. And here Arjuna is so blessed that he is actually getting this knowledge one on one, in person, in the battlefield, from Krishna. He's asking questions, and his doubts are being removed by Krishna. So Arjuna is so blessed. He's so fortunate. So here it is Lord Krishna who's revealing it. Otherwise, only a realized soul, a spiritual guru, would reveal it. So we understand from the scriptures the emphasis of having a guru, and a self-realized guru, from a guru disciplic succession, a bona fide guru parampara. So there's a lot of emphasis on this. So knowledge of scriptures is confidential. One can buy it. Anybody can buy it, the printed volumes, and but if one is not qualified, then in spite of reading it, he will not be able to realize the confidential message of the scriptures, which reveal the absolute truth. He will read it, or not in entirety at least, or will realize it only to the extent of his qualification. Whatever his qualification in terms of spiritual progress. He will be able to interpret and realize that. So, the reason is like one has to have a guru. Then guru will actually empower to understand. He will give instructions, and then he can go on. So the trigger to unravel the confidential message knowledge comes from a realized soul, which is a guru, a bona fide guru from a bona fide guru parampara. So therefore, guru like Lord Krishna is considered very compassionate. He is very dear to Lord. Because guru has qualities like that of Lord Krishna. He is spiritual, truthful, compassionate, and among many other qualities. So, so he is representative of Krishna. So that is why it is like that. So that is, we should not see a guru as a ordinary human being with a material body. We understand from scriptures, the instructions of acharyas, spiritual gurus, bona fide gurus from the parampara, that guru is actually not an ordinary person. He is empowered living entity. So that is how it is. He is very dear to Krishna because he is speaking the instructions of Lord Krishna. He is speaking about absolute truth. So bona fide spiritual guru is not interested in worldly material affairs, but because he has realized the spiritual absolute truth, the confidential knowledge, therefore now out of compassion, he is now distributing this knowledge to uplift the baffled souls fallen in the darkness of material illusion of this material world and enlighten them with the light of spiritual knowledge and thus change their life forever. So this is what guru does, right? He is not into some material mundane activities. So he looks like he might look like other people, but he's not like ordinary human being. He's completely spiritual. So this is the mindset we should understand, we should realize this from scriptures and acharyas instructions, that guru is not an ordinary person. He is not an ordinary personality. He is not material. He's spiritual, because that is what he does. He's speaking the instructions of previous bona fide gurus. He's speaking the instructions from the scriptures. He's speaking the words of Krishna. So that is what he does. So this chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the cause of Mahavishnu, from whom the material universe is emanate. So Krishna is not an incarnation; he's the source of all incarnations. So some people have this misconception, so just to remove the doubt, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned this: Krishna is not an incarnation; he is the source of all incarnations. He is the cause of all causes. He is the original cause. He is the primeval Vishnu. So here Arjuna says that his illusion is over. That is, now he doesn't see Lord Krishna as just his friend or mere human being, but as the source of everything. And now Arjuna is convinced that Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes and is present in everyone's heart as the super soul. Now Arjuna is thinking that although he may accept Krishna as the source of everything, because he has heard his instructions, all his doubts are removed. He has realized this supreme truth. Others may not. So therefore, to establish Krishna's divinity for all present and future generations, he is requesting Lord Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. Arjuna has already realized, he's received his instructions, he acknowledges that, he gives proof of that. He's glorifying Lord Krishna. So just for other people, so he's asking Lord Krishna to reveal his universal form. Then they get into detail of how the universal form is. So we understand that many people in today's Kali Yuga, sometimes they say they are so and so, they are Supreme God, they are Krishna, and like that. So Srila Prabhupada has also said this. Okay, if anybody says that, you can ask him to show the universal form, right? So this is how it is. So this is Arjuna is leading us, he's guiding us. So now Arjuna is thinking, this is how it is. Arjuna agrees that Lord Krishna is speaking to him and revealing knowledge for his benefit, and this is by Lord Krishna's grace and compassion. And Arjuna wants future generations also to benefit. So he's asking these questions and he's asking Krishna to reveal his universal form. So this remains a proof for future generations that Arjuna asked these things. So next one is Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam. Bhava is creation, apyaya is destruction, bhutanam is of all of existence. Shrutau vistarasho maya. I have heard about all this in detail. Tvataha. And about you also. Kamala patraksha, O lotus side one. So just a beautiful word Arjuna is using here for Lord Krishna. He's completely so poetic. He's getting speaking his heart out. He's pouring his heart out. Mahatmyam api chavyayam. Nature of your glory is imperishable. Kamla Patraksha is very sweet address. Um, so many prayers are related to Lord. We have seen that this word is used, lotus. So this is His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says that this is very sweet address, and which normally is used in addressal. It's part of the prayers about the beauty of the Lord. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna with other names before. The many names, we know that Lord has so many names, 1,000 names like that. So this lotus is very significant usage here. So soon after that, Lord's Virat Rupa comes where his eyes are blazing, very ferocious, looks very ferocious. And it is very difficult to look at that eyes because of the glare. So it is because of the effulgence, the glare, the fire-like effulgence, the glare. So it is the same Lord who is so attractive in one manifestation and so intolerably fearsome in another manifestation. He looks so ferocious because of the description of the detail, what's happening there. So whole Gita is it's in a flow towards understanding the intimate personality of God, intimate understanding of God. So so the devotees actually never actually are interested in the universal form of the Lord. So Arjuna's asking this is just to make sure this is also one of the forms of the Lord. He asked this, and also like in future, if somebody says that claims that he is Krishna, okay, Krishna showed his universal form and asked, so person can be asked to show reveal his universal form. Um, so people who are just we have so many things, so many people who have said that they just say that they are Krishna, but they are not. So like that, Srila Prabhupada also emphasizes, we can ask, person can ask, okay, prove it by showing the universal form. So Krishna has so many forms, beautiful forms, and details of this is there in this chapter. Details of universal form is there, so one can actually acknowledge, compare if somebody says that. So Arjuna's intimacy is addressed by Kamala Patraksha. Arjuna is building up to this request. So lotus flower, as we know, is very large, soft, and beautiful, and projects or expresses sweetness and gentleness. It's calm and it shows it's very calm, peace, and looks harmless, and it's very beautiful and attractive. So Arjuna, after having gained this knowledge directly from Lord Krishna and having experienced it and realized this knowledge, now uses these words of praise, glorification in the form of these choice words, words of intimate expression, indicating intimate or personal relationship here. So because has seen the Lord and he has seen that his eyes are like lotus, so he's actually saying that it's not just emotions or just a poetic. It's actually he's seeing it and he's pouring his heart out. So Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna with the choice words Kamalapatraksha, which means lotus-eyed. Krishna's eyes appear just like the petals of the lotus flower out of his joy. So lotus is used to describe the attractive features, beauty of Lord Krishna, like lotus eyes. There are lotus is also used to say like lotus eyes, lotus hands, the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So that is how it is. Also, we know from scriptures that Lord Brahma was born seated on the lotus flower, which sprouted from the navel of Lord Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So again, there is lotus flower here. So there's so much emphasis of lotus for its beauty. So Arjuna had earlier learned from Lord Krishna that Lord Krishna is the source of the appearance and disappearance of this entire material manifestation, and that he is aloof from it. Although he is source of this appearance and disappearance of all this entire material manifestation, he is aloof from it. He is not affected or bothered by it. Arjuna expresses that Lord Krishna has inconceivable opulences. As the Lord has said in the ninth chapter, he is all pervading, yet he is not personally present everywhere. So, as super soul, localized Paramatma, he knows everything. Whatever a person has done, is doing, or uh, is going to do in future. So, Lord is seated in the heart as super soul, localized Paramatma, and he is witness of all that. And as all pervasive, this is like all pervasive feature, an impersonal feature. This is something we cannot see, but we know that he's in every atom. So he's present in every atom. He knows everything everywhere. He's present everywhere. So he's Satchit Ananda. He's perfect, independent, supreme controller. He knows everything, has perfect knowledge, and he's witness of everything. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. So he will let us, the living entities, perform actions. He will sanction those actions if they can be sanctioned. He will also reward accordingly. So, but he will not disturb us. He will not disturb that individual person. So we know that he is seated in our heart and he is witnessing everything. He is actually approving or sanctioning things. Um, if you want or desire, he will sanction it if it can be sanctioned, if it's allowed, and he will actually reward or you can say bless or punish accordingly. But he will not disturb us in our material endeavors of sense gratification if you want to continue to remain in this illusion. So because of our karma, because of our past desires, we have this body and we wanted to enjoy it. So things are scheduled accordingly. So he will not disturb us in our desires for remaining in material sense gratification or material illusion. So we need to come to this realization after being maybe fed up or after receiving this knowledge. You know, this material sense gratification is not right. We have the senses and mind and everything to glorify the Lord, to serve the Lord. And we get this detail from our gurus, acharyas, or scriptures, what they get into detail, what we are supposed to, how we are supposed to live our life, the do's and don'ts, what is favorable and what is unfavorable. So like that. So we have these scriptures and they get into detail. So he will let us continue unless we come to this realization. That's when he starts, he says that, if you take one step, he will reciprocate. His one step is gigantic. We cannot estimate. So he will guide us if we decide to go into this spiritual direction and get out of this material existence, purify it, make it spiritual existence, um, like that. So he is there to guide us. But unless we want to continue in this material sense gratification, this material illusion, we want to continue to remain there, he will not disturb us. He will let us do it and he will accordingly sanction it. If it's time for us to be punished, he will punish. There will be punishment. If there's time to be rewarded, we will get rewarded. So for our past piety and sinful activities, according we'll get um, for the karma, there is a reaction. So whether it's sinful activity or it's piety, we will be rewarded accordingly when the time comes. So and so otherwise, if we decide to get into spiritual activity, decide to get into bhakti, we want to serve Krishna, then he will guide us through Guru, through scriptures, and also as Chaitya Guru, as Paramatma, he seated in our hearts, he will guide us. So this is what he will do. But otherwise, he'll let us continue. So here there is an emphasis here. Arjuna expresses the Lord Krishna as inconceivable opulences. It is said that here it is mentioned that he is all pervading, yet he is not personally present everywhere. So this is how it is. He's present everywhere, but he's not personally present everywhere. We can realize him, but we cannot see him. We don't have the spiritual vision. But from the words of the Guru, from scriptures, and the instructions which Arjuna has shared, which is in the Bhagavad-gītā, we can actually come to realize that spiritual truth. So that is how it is. We have to have faith, and then with build up of knowledge as we progress, more knowledge we will get, and we will come to a realization where we want to surrender to the Lord. So finally, Arjuna admits that he has realized that Lord Krishna has inexhaustible glories and inconceivable opulences. So next, there will be more detail to the questions and related to universal form of the Lord and Arjuna's realization and prayers and glorification. So thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Thanks for joining. Please continue to join tomorrow. Hare Krishna. So if anybody has any questions, please ask before we log off. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I just
Hare
got
Krishna.
a very silly doubt, Prabhuji. If Krishna, Arjuna, okay, if Krishna wanted to show his universal form to Arjuna, why did he not think of showing it to everybody?
Um, yeah, so we individuals, a very good question. So see, we once we come into this universe, we have a material body, and accordingly, so for example, we have a material body, we have a material vision, and there are Devi Devtas who have also have a material vision, but that material vision, because of their qualification, allows them to see things which we cannot see in this universe. They can appear, come, and disappear as and when they want to wherever in this universe. So like that. So to see Krishna, Krishna is all spiritual. We have to have a spiritual vision. But other people who were there, they were not qualified because they didn't have devotion, love for the Lord. So Arjuna is a friend, a pure devotee of the Lord, and also his relative. And now he is a student of Krishna. And so that this is how Arjuna is allowed to. He has this vision to see the spiritual vision, to see the all spiritual form of the Lord. We also know that Sanjaya was able. He had this vision. Um, so he got the spiritual vision because he also had devotion for the Lord. So like that, anybody who has this devotion, who is qualified, will be accordingly able to see the spiritual things. When a pure devotee of the Lord will be able to see, as mentioned earlier by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, the pure devotee of the Lord will be able to see all forms of the Lord if Krishna allows him because of his pure devotion. So Krishna has so many spiritual forms. So the reason, answer to your question is that others had a material body and they didn't have devotion like Arjuna, a pure devotee of the Lord. That is why Krishna didn't reveal his beautiful spiritual vision um, to others because they didn't have devotion, they didn't have love for the Lord. So
Including the demigods, Prabhuji, because the demigods form the part of his body, right?
yeah, so if demigods
Parts
have
of his
this.
body.
Right, right. So if demigods, their bodies is not gross like ours, but they also have a material body, but they have subtle body primarily. So they have that vision which qualifies them to see according to their qualification the form of the Lord. So there are many times we have heard in Krishna Leela also during appearance of Krishna also during Janmashtami, during that time also, the demigods actually were able to see the beautiful form of the Lord. And they used instruments, the instruments in the lokas of the demigods, the heavenly planets. They used those instruments. The Gandharvas, they said prayers and they showered flowers and things like that. So there are many incidences, even in other places in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have this where demigods are empowered to see
Mm.
that activity of the Lord. But demigods, they are not allowed to see the leelas which Krishna has with the gopis. We understand
Mm.
that even Lord Shiva didn't have this, even Narad Muni didn't have this. But because they had desire, they approached a particular, the gopi or Saki or Manjari of the Lord, and they were instructed how they can get that body body for the Leela, because only gopis can be there, right? In
Mm.
Lord Krishna is Rasa Leela. So even Lord Shiva and Lord Narad Muni, if I understand it right, they were instructed by, I don't know who, maybe Purnamasi or Vrinda Devi, um, or Srimati Lalita Devi or Srimati Visakha Devi, and they instructed Lord Shiva to do so and so things. And after that, he had this body of the gopi, and then we have this Gopeshwar Mahadev, right, in
Mm.
Vrindavan. So they gave practical instructions, and if I understand it right, in Vrindavana, there is a Brahma Kund, and this is
Mm.
where on a particular day, Lord Shiva actually went and took bath, and after that, he was able to see the beautiful form. He became a gopi. He had that gopi form of the Lord, gopi form of his, right, and then he could participate in that leela. Otherwise, others are not allowed. And so this is how it is, and I understand it right. Even Narad Muni had a bath there, or like that. Yeah. So it's mentioned there. If you go to Brahma Kund, there is a detail which says that this is where Lord Narad Muni and Lord Shiva took bath, and they got this gopi body. And I understand also from that what's mentioned there, on a particular day, I actually happened to ask the person who is serving there, on a particular day, I don't remember which day, but it's somewhere in Krishna Paksha, some day. Um, uh, Maybe people who have this vision, and actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives his darshan there. It's mentioned there. Um, so on a particular day, and I understand from that person, from the person who is serving Brahmakund, that it's there only for a minute, maybe movement appearance. So maybe I don't know, only empowered people, they'll be able to see the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during that time. So yeah. So that is how it
Very
is.
nice, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you so
Mataji.
much, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone. So if anybody has any question, please ask.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Then with pranam, everyone. So
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, like
Dandavat.
everybody couldn't even absorb what, like Krishna showed the universal form to Duryodhan. He was not able to take it.
take
He
it,
said,
yeah.
oh, he's doing jugglery. He said, catch him,
Right,
bind
right.
him.
Yeah, yeah. I think even in Shishupal Leela or Jarasandha, somewhere in the hall, there was another incident where Lord showed his form, another form, but they ignored, like you said, they ignored it completely. So yeah, I mean, its emphasis is like we have to have love and spiritual devotion, and according to the qualification, he will reciprocate and reveal things. So that's how
Yashoda
it is.
Mai got baffled. Yashoda Mai got so baffled. She thought
Yeah,
he was saying something. So
yeah.
he removed them. So like even we like in day-to-day life also, Prabhu, like everybody cannot absorb everything, isn't it? So
Yes,
according
yes.
to your degree of whatever it is,
Bhava.
bhava, like
Uh-huh.
the universal form was being.
Right, right. So again, like if in go to participate in Gopis Leela, you have to have it as different form. So Mother Yashoda being mother and being covered by Yoga Maya, for her to be able to conduct and carry on that sneha and then love and affection for her child, um, she was under Yoga Maya's influence, and she saw her son as ordinary son, so she could take care of him. Well, but during when Lord Krishna was to appear, at the time also Lord showed his, I think, Chaturbhuja form, and then Devaki and Vasudeva, Lord Vasudeva Maharaja. He actually prayed again, and they prayed, and this Lord. His forehand Chaturbhuja form disappeared. There are other places also where gopis, when Lord shows his forehand form, they don't want to see Vishnu or forehand form. They just want to see that beautiful two-hand form of Krishna, and that is how it is. So yeah, according to one's, like you said, according to one's qualification, and because they will not be able to absorb, like you said. So it's not. I mean, there is no point in Krishna showing it because that they'll not be able to appreciate or so according to the qualification they get to participate, and because that is what is dear to them, so that is what they want to see. So like in Bhishma Pitama wanted to see Lord Krishna's roop of a fighter, a warrior, so he did things to actually agitate him or get him into that mode, and that's what Lord Krishna also took a vow not to participate in war, yet not to lift any weapon, but yet for the love of his devotee Bhishma Pitama, he took the chariot wheel, which is it could be used as a weapon, but it is not a weapon. So that is the bhava of Bhishma Pitama. So he did that. So there's so many things in our scriptures. So this is glorification of the Lord by the devotees according to their bhava. So this is a great scripture, even Bhagavad-gītā, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we are very blessed that in our parampara, gurus and Srila Prabhupada have translated this and sharing it with us. And at least we don't have a spiritual vision, but at least to the instructions of our guru and to what the scriptures reveal, we can actually realize to whatever little bit we are allowed to realize. Otherwise, we are covered in this mundane influence, this energy, this potency of the Lord. and by following the instructions of the Guru, maybe one day we will be purified and see the Lord, see the form of the Lord. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks everyone. So yeah, okay. So have a wonderful day, devotees. Hare Krishna.